Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. It's now 2021, and let's see if we can get this year to be the one where we found a decent vaccine and we can live alongside this virus easily. You know, I'm very confident in the vaccine. We've seen lots and lots of vaccines over the years, so I'm very confident in the Oxford one. This is a video I've been wanting to do for ever since I got Emma-Jane, really. So here you see, all wearing their Christmas pyjamas. I'm packing away everything to do with Christmas today, so I thought I'd do this video now. It was a busy Christmas, and then if you've got a chronic illness, you know you need to rest and chill out, which is what I've been doing. Sorry, I just thought I wasn't recording them, but I am. So we've got Emma-Jane. This darling here is Emma-Jane. And she is, oh my gosh, I can't remember what sculpt she is. Who are you? Oh, Kim by Sigrid Bock. And then we have Frankie here. Frankie is Nicole, sculpt by Natali, Blick. And then we have Annabelle down here, Annabelle Daisy, and she is Annie by Donna, Rubert. So I just want to add a disclaimer on the start of my video, just saying that this is going to be a sensitive topic for some people. It might be a trigger for some people. So please make sure that you've checked in the description box what triggers what words I think could trigger you, and that is not exhaustive, because you know I don't know each and every one of you, and I don't know your situation. But please read the description before you go any further into the video. If you think that something I'm going to say about these therapy dolls is going to trigger you. It does talk about childhood. I do talk about my childhood. I do talk about chronic illness, and I do talk about personality disorders, and I talk about counselling as well. But as I say, please. Okay, so the first reborn out of these three that I got was Annabelle, and there is a playlist talking about therapy and dolls, and exactly what Annabelle means to me and Annabelle's history. So I won't talk about that here, but I just want to give you like a little insight. So Annabelle basically represents the young child in me. I was abandoned as a baby. I was fostered. I was just about to be adopted, and then things happened that my birth father found a lady that he was going to marry, and the social services stopped the adoption, and I went to live with my dad and my new stepmom. The stepmom wanted my dad, she didn't want me, and she created just a hellish life for me. My dad left her numerous times, came back to her numerous times. My dad's been married lots of times. My dad has lots of children. And I didn't actually meet my birth mother until I was 31, and I have no contact with her at all, apart from I've seen her 3 times, and I'm now 51. I don't know any of my birth mother's side of the family. I met my grandfather once. So that's that side. My dad's side of the family I did keep in contact with, but I just feel like I don't belong in that family, and I just don't feel part of it. When you've been treated like that as a child, you have lots and lots of issues, and one of them is abandonment disorder. And you really find it hard to form decent relationships, which is exactly what's happened to me. I don't trust very well. I don't like many people. And I often still think in like a childlike way. So Annabelle represents this young girl for me, she is the doll that I take to my therapy counselling classes some Tuesdays. I go every Tuesday, but I don't always take Annie. She was the first one I got. I'll just go and get Jen a minute and I'll show you Jen. This is Jen. Some of you haven't seen Jen before. Jen is a Palatoy doll from the 1970s. And she was the cheap sister of Tiny Tears. So if you couldn't afford a Tiny Tears, you got a Jen. I don't actually know what the name of the doll is. I've called her Jen. And when I first started counselling, I've had counselling throughout my adulthood. But I started again, I think in my early 40s. I went private, and I've had just the best counsellors by going private. And I'm not saying that the National Health Service counsellors are rubbish. It's just that they have certain timescales they have to fit in. They get you in and out. They use cognitive behaviour therapy, and they've got a 16-week window to get you in, show you how to manage, and get you out. Whereas when you're paying for it, basically, you know, you come up with like some goals and things like that with your counsellor, and you talk through them. And I've been now at the same counselling service. I'm 51 now, and I've been there since I was 41. So 10 years. It's been a lot of money, but it has been worth it. And Jen, so when I started, it was really hard for me to talk to my inner child, because so much had happened to these inner children that I didn't want to talk about it to a great extent. It was just after I'd reported everything that I'd suffered to the police. And I'm just checking the time, because as we all know, I've only got 5 minutes on to upload. I think we're okay. Yeah, so she said, how about getting a doll that, you know, have a look around, and doll that catches your eye, and you can talk to the doll as if you were talking to yourself. So I got Jen, because Jen reminds me of my childhood, the 1970s. I always wanted a Tiny Tears. I didn't get a Tiny Tears. I didn't even get a Jen until a little bit later on. But I did have a doll that I used to treat as my baby. I used to dress it up. I used to go to the jumble sales and buy clothes for it. That's what I did. And I did that quite up until I was went to secondary school, because we moved when I went to secondary school, and I didn't take any toys with me, anything with me. So I found it really, really hard, though, to talk to Jen, because to me, she looks like a doll. She is a doll. And I found it really, really hard to connect with Jen. And then my counsellor and I, you know, we both talked about things, and we looked through. My counsellor came up with a Reborn dolls. And so we looked into Reborn dolls. And that is where I saw Annie. So as I say, if you want to know more about Annie's story, you can find Annie's playlist, or you can go into the therapy section of my playlists, the therapy playlist, and you'll see more there. I don't talk about it all the time, just every now and again. And the reason I want to talk about it now is because when I got Emma, everything just fell into place for me. So anyway, so I have Annie, and then I think it was a year later, I got Frankie, because she was the older version of me that also I found really, really hard to talk to, because this is when a lot of abuse started for me. When I was 6, that's when all the sexual abuse started. When I was 9, the sexual abuse went on and on. At 9, another family member, in fact my stepmom, my dad left her, my stepmom sexually abused me for 2 years, until my dad came back and lived with her again. So Frankie represents the child at that age, the child who is scared, is frightened of bedtime, who didn't really have anybody. I mean, this young girl down here didn't really have anybody, but this young girl down here made herself an invisible friend called Joe. Throughout my entire life, I've had an invisible friend called Joe. So this young girl created Joe. Well, we now know through all my therapy that Joe was a different personality and is part of my multiple personality disorder. And then I got Frankie, and having Frankie has just been such a help. But she is quite big. Some people have said, wow, I didn't realize she was so big. She is. She wears age 4 to 5 clothing. So she is a big girl. I did struggle last year with changing her, but now I found certain items of clothing that fit her better. And like I say, I talk more about Frankie's story as well in the therapy section. And then I've gone on and I've had, because I've had miscarriages. I've had 4 boy miscarriages, and so I've gone on and I've always tried to like find like newborn babies that will help with that. Leo was probably the closest I got to that, but I now know I'll never replace them. So I don't do a lot with the babies. I just like to hold them and cuddle them. I love other people's babies and I'll cuddle them the whole time I'm with them. But I need to do more with the littles. I need to do more with toddlers, because that is the part that I am really, really, my life has all been about struggling with these young children. So while I have 3 daughters, while they were young, it was really good for my multiple personality disorder, because my multiples are children. And it was really good for them because they had children to play with, they had nurturing, they had cuddles, they had all of that. But as soon as my children left home, that's when I really, really struggled, because I my littles inside me had no one to play with, they had no one to cuddle with. It was really, really hard on my multiple personality disorder, which has only been diagnosed within the last 10 years. So I just had to start you off again. So Frankie. So then when it got to actually selling Frankie, I realised that I couldn't, and it was just too hard. There was no way. I felt like I'd give them away. There's absolutely no way that I could let them feel the same way as I did as a child, that nobody was there for them, that they were ignored. And that's basically what it was. You just sat in the corner and played, so you didn't get involved in anything. So basically you blend into the background so you're not noticed. And that is what I did. And yeah, I have parts of my personality that are really loud and want to be noticed. And I guess that's why they're really, really loud, because they want to be noticed. And then, as you know, last year, so move on now to Emma-Jane. So last year I got Emma-Jane. I've been waiting for Emma-Jane for such a long time, because Kim kept setting the release date back, because I guess there are things when the mould gets to be cast that she wasn't happy with, so it kept being put back. I think it was put back something like 9 months, the release date. And so eventually I got Emma-Jane. They're all 3 of those are reborn by the same artist, same as Harry and Heidi and Timothy. They were all reborn by the same artist, and her ones are the ones that I tend to really keep, because they kind of remind me of my children. My girls never had any blemishes or anything like that. They're very fair skinned, and so this is how I don't know. This is how we have these reborn. So Emma-Jane. When I opened Emma-Jane, I cried and cried and cried, because it always kind of like felt to me, between Frankie and Annie, there was something missing. So Annie, I reckon she's about 18 months to 2. Well, that is a kind of age where it was really, really, I was flitting between foster homes, children's homes, children's homes, and adoption, families for adoption. So that was the age I was really flitting between, and that's how I see Annie. And Annie just really, really needs lots of love and care, and feeling safe, and which is what I'm always trying to achieve. Whereas Emma-Jane, I see her as a little bit older, probably maybe 3. And that's when I started to live with the stepmom from hell. And Emma-Jane's face is a sassy face, is a concentrating face, is a I'm not sure about you face, which is exactly how I feel. Exactly how my little young one that Emma-Jane represents feels. And she's so cute, and I just it's like when I opened her, the little one inside me was just like, oh yes, 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 yes. So I now feel that inside me, all my littles are complete, because I can share these with them, and I can act towards these how I would act towards my littles inside me. It kind of like now feels like complete. Like, don't get me wrong, Timothy and Heidi and Harry and Oliver and my new Felicity, they're the icing on the cake. They're the icing on the cake. But these 3 here really represent my children that were my children, not my personal children, but my personality children and my personality. I would tell you their names, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Is allowing them to live their life, whereas they were always hidden, always hidden, and it was such a huge strain on my body to hide them away. I never told anybody till I was in my 40s, because I was always fearful that my children would be taken away if I told somebody that I heard voices. You know, so I researched a lot about schizophrenia and thought that that's what it was, but the voices were not like that. So I knew it wasn't that, and I knew I felt different at times. And there's a funny thing that I can do, and that is I can sleep with my eyes open and be conscious of what else is going around me. Yeah, I can be asleep and feel refreshed afterwards. And that is not the fibro or the chronic fatigue. That is a young child who needs an afternoon nap. So it has been, so getting Emma, we just feel complete now. And, you know, my Reborns these 3 might not be to your taste. And I've had people saying that Felicity is the best of your Reborns, and I don't like Annie, and la la la. And, you know, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me in the least. Because we're all different, and if we weren't, there wouldn't be so many different sculpts around, so many different artists. And it doesn't hurt me or upset me, because I don't care. These are mine. These are my girls, and that is why I've got them at the end of the day. They are my girls. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. It wasn't emotional, was it? It wasn't. It was just a quick talking. There is like extra bits about Annie, extra bits about Frankie, and I'm sure going along I will video extra bits about Emma-Jane and add them to my therapy playlist. The therapy playlist, if you watch it, please be aware that I haven't put trigger comments in the description, so please watch it at your own discretion. You must look after yourself. You must try to watch it in a secure place with something you've got for security, or don't watch it. You know, please choose wisely. So I'm going to leave the video there. I'm going to change all these girls now. Get you out of your pajamas. It is about, I don't know what the time is. Frankie's got a watch on. Should we see? It's 10:47 on New Year's Day in the morning. So yeah, now I'm just going to pack. So this is the last thing I've got to pack away is the tree and the girls' darling pajamas. I just want to rinse them through and dry them. And that the blanket that Frankie is sat on, not the one covering her, the blanket she sat on. They're all going to go in a bag, and the bag is going in a box, and tomorrow we're taking it to the bungalow. Yay, we're taking all the Christmas stuff to the bungalow tomorrow, so that's a start of stuff moving over into the garage storage area. Woohoo! Girls, we're getting excited, aren't we, for our new nursery. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being here. All the best wishes for a brighter, healthier 2021. Bye.
Get up in the morning, awoken by the sunshine in my eyes. And out on the pavement, all the early souls are passing by.